Foreclosure auction announced for a 70-unit luxury apartment complex in West Roxbury. What? My name is Ruben Austria from Senior Account Executive at Revolution Realty Capital.
And I'm Adam Jakowski. I'm a equipment finance specialist for Jupiter Equipment, as well as a capital raiser for the commercial senior living space.
Welcome to LEARNin Local Live. Adam, welcome. How are you, my brother?
Doing well today, my friend. How's everything?
You know, you're 6 feet above 6 feet off the ground. I think it's a good day. So that's I'll tell you how my outlook at things.
It's all about mindset and how you approach it.
Yeah, brother. Thank you for being a co-host today. Really appreciate you, and welcome to LEARNin Local Live. If this is your first time, really appreciate you being here. We're talking real estate with real people and real deals in real time. So we're talking today specifically, the topic of the day is a 70-unit foreclosure auction, ground up construction in West Roxbury nonetheless. Adam, does that just bring question marks into your head? I mean, what heck is going on?
Yeah, I mean, anything like that is always crazy to think about. You figure it's brand new construction, so it hasn't even gotten a chance to perform. And it's even in one of the most sought after real estate markets in the country, being, the Boston area. So immediately you're wondering what the heck happened here. It's just on paper, you're like, either someone's running out of money, a loan defaulted, all the above. Like, there's so many questions you start asking in those situations, because you never really ever see a new ground up construction building go right to auction like that.
Absolutely. The numbers don't make sense. The thought process, it doesn't make sense. But you know what? Real estate is a business delivered and serviced by people. I hate to say that, guys. I'll just that's the primer for today. Let's transition. I want to talk about what LEARNin Local Live is. LEARNin Local Live is a platform for real estate professionals like Adam and I to be authentic, talk transparently to you about what's going on in our real estate world, while at the same time educating, inspiring, and empowering you to be the best version of yourself as a buyer in this market in Massachusetts. And why we're here, it's very simple. It's to educate, empower, and inspire folks. Hey, Adam, really quick. Did you know that $12.5 billion was fraudulently taken by fraudsters to consumers in 2024? 12.5 billion.
No, I mean, it's one of those numbers that's not surprising, unfortunately, because, these scammers, they're always trying to get better at what they do. They become so sophisticated. Technology's made it easier for them, AI now. So, no, it's a shame that happens. You unfortunately deal with a lot of bad actors in this business. So, yeah, it's key to be around the right people.
And let's say another thing. Do you know that's a 25% increase from 2023?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about when you're talking billions, right? 25%. That's
big money.
Not small numbers.
Yeah, and I don't imagine that increase or that trajectory to decline anytime soon. Technology is really just getting faster and faster. People making money faster, but also losing money faster.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the good and bad of technology. You hear all these horror stories. I mean, you hear stories of people having their titles taken away from them without ever selling property, and people calling with fraudulent claims and all these things. I mean, all these things that technology, AI, has given these fraudsters the ability to create more elaborate schemes.
100%. So that's why we're here. We're not here to do anything like that. Quite opposite, is really just make you a better, more consumed, more informed consumer. And how do we do that? Well, we bring on subject matter experts in Massachusetts that talk about the things that matter, talk about news, and give their insights. So, we're, I feel like there's going to be so much to talk about today, Adam. Let's just start introducing our panel today, and then we can move forward. What do you think?
Oh, let's do it.
All right. Well, I will also mention is that none of this is possible without our sponsor for today, HLM Group LLC. So let's just play a quick message from HLM.
Smart real estate investing starts with the right partner. At HLM Group LLC, we guide investors through every stage, from acquisition to full-service management. Whether short, mid, or long-term rentals, we transform properties into high-performing, fully booked spaces. Design, staging, leasing, hospitality. We don't just manage properties, we create experiences that feel like home. Because the best investments deliver more than returns. They become places where life happens and memories begin. HLM Group LLC, own the property, we'll craft the experience.
Thank you, HLM Group. Really appreciate you. And now we're gonna start introducing our featured LEARNin Local Influencers of the Week. Okay, so just want to quickly explain how this works. This platform, this network operates as a community for the community. So we recruit real estate professionals who want to become influencers in their market, put them on stage, and really help them to share their message, help educating, empowering, and inspiring investors in Massachusetts make great decisions. So want to start introducing the team, starting with me. My name is Ruben Austria with, my name is Ruben Austria with Revolution Realty Capital. Are you a local real estate investor? Maybe you're flipping a home, just got through the renovation, and maybe your property is sitting there for a little bit longer than you had expected. Well, I'm hearing that from a lot of investors right now. They can't sell their house at the price point they thought they would, at the ARV that they thought they would, and it's just causing a little bit of havoc. Well, if you've ever heard of a debt service coverage ratio loan, I can potentially get you out of the hard money loan that you're in, and a much lower interest rate you'll find than construction funds. So again, I've been there. Believe me, in the last recession, I found myself in a very similar situation. Call if you need help. Again, my name is Ruben Austria from Revolution Realty Capital. Thank you. All right, Adam.
Perfect.
Thank you so much
for being here. My name's Adam Chikowski. Currently, I work for Jupiter Equipment Finance. We specialize in equipment financing, working capital for small and medium-sized businesses across a few different industries. I've been doing that over the last 7 years. And real estate investing got into about 4 years ago. Started with single families and moved my way into the commercial space, solely focusing right now on senior living.
Amazing, Adam. Yeah, thank you for being here. We really appreciate your contributions to the Massachusetts group thus far. Really appreciate you.
Absolutely.
All right, and today we have as a co-host Melissa Ma. Melissa, thank you for returning to the studio. Thank you for being here.
Of course, anytime. My name is Melissa Ma with eXp Realty. I am a local real estate agent. I'm based out of Quincy, but I also service the South Shore and the North Shore. I'm also a full-time teacher. So I think being a teacher and being a real estate agent, it really helps my clients out. I work with buyers, sellers, investors, and I really help them navigate the real estate market and really provide them that guidance and, give them less stress and more confidence as they navigate the market.
Amazing. Everybody needs that, Melissa. Everyone needs a little tour guide, if you will, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for being on the panel. Well, without further ado, do we have a drum roll in the studio yet? I'm not sure entirely, but Ronnie Pazan of Trinity Real Estate. Ronnie, thank you so much for being here. Please provide your elevator pitch for viewers.
Elevator pitch, yeah. So we have to go to the 112th floor for this one. So anyhow, yeah, Ronnie Puzon, glad to be here once again and join all these fine folks and Ruben, our gracious host. Ronnie Puzon, born and raised here in Boston, Massachusetts. Ex-Wall Street guy, turned back into then transitioned right into real estate. I am an investor. I own a brokerage here in Saugus. So whether you're looking to buy, sell, or join, please come talk to me. Anything real estate, you don't have to use me. Any questions, bounce them off me. And it's, if you want to talk about the economy, anything finance, or just pick my brain about anything, I'm always here to learn also. So, hopefully I'll learn something from you also. So thanks a lot for having me on the show, and I'm looking forward to it.
I will warn you though, whenever I call Ronnie, I expect to be on the phone for at least 30 minutes. So be careful. No, I'm just kidding.
I like to devote my attention and give you everything I have. So
I'm like, look at the phone, 42 minutes. How the heck did that happen?
Goes by quick though, right? So
it goes by really quick. Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to your insights for today, especially on today's topic. It's going to be a really good one. So you know what? Let's transition right into the insights. Looking forward to having a great discussion. Okay, so well, if you're anything like me, I just still default to Googling real estate investing news every time I want to understand and know what's going on. But if you're also like me, you probably start to think of like, well, I wonder if this is actually fake news, right? So the whole reason why, well, not the whole reason, but the main reason why Learn Local exists is that you're getting insights about what's happening. You might have seen it on, I don't know, a headline on social media. It might have been somewhere, someone that said something and shared an article with you. You really just want to have a conversation about whether or not this is legitimate. Well, this is what we're doing during our insights portion of the show. So I want to just mention really quick and reiterate, there's a foreclosure auction that was announced on the 70-unit luxury apartment complex in West Roxbury. Again, Adam and I had conversations about like, what in the world, how in the world, why in the world, how did this happen? And it's very, very interesting article. Only because I feel like there's going to be so much discussed. And Ronnie, you dug so deep into what was going on. Would love to have you give us a primer of what you discovered, and we'll just have a discussion about it.
Yeah. So when I saw this article, it was kind of baffling to me at first because 70 units gone up, they completed it, and now it's going to auction. So just didn't even have any time to hit the market. So something must have been going on there. And, I looked at a few things actually, and I saw that the bank was trying, foreclosing, and they're the ones actually looking for the, for the buyer and actually, forcing it into auction. So I did, look at a couple of things, and I did find out that there might've been some rift between, I guess the sponsor who sponsors the money and the contract. And that was alleged, because it's still in court right now, that there might have been some fraud going on behind the scenes, and which probably caused some of the cost overruns and the time overruns also. I think this thing was supposed to be done like last year, and here it is now, basically being completed in 2025. So, again, it's one of these, to be determined as to what's going to happen. And, it looks like it's still in the courts. But, just at first blush, it's one of these things where you look at it and you said, it could be, this thing is probably fake news, just like Ruben said, and you just have to look into it and, dive deep, and, and if it doesn't feel right, maybe it isn't right, and you hardly see this stuff. I mean, the economy is still strong. So, they should have actually been able to put this out to market, but now they're putting it at auction. So there must have been something behind the scene, something nefarious, I guess, going on behind the scenes. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Adam is as someone who's in there financing things all the time, like me, want to kind of give you first crack at the feedback or the insights that Ronnie had shared.
Yeah, like Ronnie said, it's obviously very interesting what's happening there. Like, you never see something like that happen, especially with like an A-class asset in a very strong market. Especially with what's going on in the multifamily space right now, right? They're seeing a 2008 recession like instance there going on. And that's because, we're having floating rates, refinances, rates aren't increasing like they should in certain markets. So, they're coming about with things that they weren't preparing for with underwriting, financing, etc. Not that you're happy that it was because of fraud, but at least it was a situation that could have been controlled. that should, in my opinion, obviously never happen when you're working with people of integrity. It wasn't a situation where, to Ronnie's point, they weren't running over budget. They didn't run out of money. The rates didn't change where it started to float, or the hard money came due, something like that, where it's out of our control. It's economy related. That's more troubling signs. But again, to that point, when you dive deeper, it doesn't sound as troubling on this, as it does on the surface.
Yeah, for sure. Now that's so true. I think you bring up a lot of good points. Given that, Melissa Ma, you are right, a buyer's agent. Just out of curiosity, do you have anyone looking for property in West Roxbury? And if they saw this, you think they would actually be something that they would have been interested in?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's luxury living, and everyone's trying to get into a condo that is not beat up, because in Massachusetts, I mean, the housing is very expensive, as we know, and sometimes to afford something, it's like a fixed offer. So these luxury condos will appeal to many people. I've actually driven by this area, so it's definitely, West Roxbury is a really up and coming. It's a hot market. So
absolutely. Okay, cool. Yeah, I wanted to just confirm that that the market demand wasn't the issue. In fact, one of the reasons why we wanted to create this platform is because on a regular basis, I'm actually meeting with borrowers and sponsors, and meeting with their brokers who are meeting with us to discuss the deals, and usually we have them in recorded live G Meet rooms. For the very purpose of making sure that we're not, we know exactly who we're dealing with, and it's not just a voice transcripted AI saying whatever they want. We want them to say or whatever, right? So like, this is kind of how the idea of this platform kind of came about. It's like, well, what if we just make that a public conversation? Obviously, withholding confidential information for the most part, but really just talking about the deal. You know what I mean? You don't have to talk about the sponsor, but just talk about the deal. You know what I mean? Exactly what is going on. And we actually also use those live rooms as a way to check in on deals, check in on what's going on. So it seems like to me, kind of like what you mentioned, both Ronnie and Adam, is that like there just wasn't enough accountability in place, at all the given checkpoints. So it's just going back to the conversation we had earlier, Adam, about the fraud that's going on. This is quite relevant. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. Super. I mean, interesting and sad at the same time, though, right?
It is, and you never know really what's going on behind the scenes. Like, obviously, you have the KP, who's the key principal and the sponsor on this, right? They're bringing the net worth to these deals. Most of the time, most of those KPs don't want to be involved, right? They're not trying to asset manage. They're not trying to raise capital. They've done all that. They're using their strength to sign on the loan. But yeah, if you're not paying attention to what's going on, you're not doing check-ins, communications out there, I mean, it can obviously easily break down. And again, if you're on that coin of saying, hey, I trust this other partner, it's very easy to create that fraud very quick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I agree with that too. And, just like I said, with like, just like any project, any business, you have to pick your partners very carefully, and, it's almost like, you wouldn't marry a person, without checking them out, actually, and talking to them and knowing about them, and, probably knowing a lot about them, because, once you're married to them, you can't unscramble scrambled eggs, as I always say. And, it's one of those things where, you got to be sure that you're picking the right partner. And, fortunately, again, this is all alleged that has been happening, but if it does come to fruition, it's just an unfortunate circumstance that happens. So. Absolutely. Yeah. Now let's transition to the next segment, or at least introduce the next segment. We don't currently have a full slated time frame for this next segment, but this, as I was mentioning before, this is the whole idea of LEARNin Local, is just providing transparency on not just the news, but we also, at some point in Massachusetts, we will be talking about real deals. Now, this deal, as it stands, a 70-unit condo luxury ground-up complex, happens to be right down our lending alley. So anytime you guys need someone that build ground-up construction for especially luxury living, man, would love to have an opportunity at that.
But as far as deals are concerned, Ronnie, I know you kind of dove into the deals a little bit. You know, are you going to apply for financing to buy this thing? I know that you have the treasure chest.
Hardly actually. Well, if RevCap will, I'll put 500 up, but then if RevCap puts the other 18 million, that's pretty good. I'll do that.
That loan to cost is going to be significantly high.
I'll flip a few units, so.
Okay.
Well, I was curious because, we have Melissa and Ronnie too, both realtors. Like, from a residential standpoint, like if this was on market and you were selling it to one of your buyers, where do you think these would typically fall in, like price for, given that they're all 2 units for the most part in that market?
Yeah.
I would say that are you talking about like what the range would be like?
Yeah, where would you expect something like that from from the residential side to say like, hey, this is probably what it's going to cost to buy in this market, luxury, 2 bedrooms, in a great area?
Yeah, I would say, just looking at the area, it being a luxury condo, you can definitely, it's going to go for at least, I want to say like 600K or so, probably more than that, because I even see some triple decker homes that are sold for even more than that. So the fact that these are luxury condos in West Roxbury in the city, it's going to be pricey.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah. No, I think
that's the number I came up with. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a great play from a development side because you have to pivot, and I feel like that's really where they're obviously at least thought where the return on investment would be, as opposed to making those all 70 multifamily units to rent.
Right.
Yep.
Sure. All right. Yeah. No, that's great. Anyone have any? If you are viewing this live or in the live recording, feel free to ask any questions that you might have for our guests. We are going to transition to our last segment of the show. It is events. So let's quickly do that. LEARNin Local events. The whole purpose of LEARNin Local events is to showcase events. Our network of subject matter experts are attending, scheduling, planning for the future, whatever have you, promoting. It's really just about meeting meeting virtually here in the studio, and then meeting together belly to belly, shaking hands, looking each other in the eye, and maybe even smelling their cologne and seeing if you want to do business. You know what I mean? That's just that's what we're here for. That's what we want to do. We want to bring on a special guest who's actually on site at one of our events, and by the name of Roger, our sponsor for today. Roger, what is going on? How are you?
I'm great. How's everyone doing? I'm currently at an ARIA event. That's the Asian Real Estate Association of America. There's over 100 real estate professionals here today, meeting each other and swinging golf clubs. So
Nice. Have you got a chance to swing any clubs yet, or what, are you still waiting for the real golfers to come? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm about to. They're gonna feed us, and we're going to mingle a little bit before they let us loose.
Cool. I heard Art is going to be there as well.
Yes, Art's here. Art's mingling. We like to meet people with like-minded people, and that we want to work with. This is one of the perks of being in real estate.
100%. And with cameras everywhere in everyone's pocket, we can just go live like this. I mean, it's just amazing. How easily we can connect, virtually, but also eventually in person. So it's amazing. So 100 people at this coming event. That's nice. Arya does a really good job, putting things together. So, on the events subject, does anyone have any events they want to share and talk about that's coming up this week?
I don't have an event this week, but I do have a first-time home buyers workshop that I'm.
That is an event. Come on.
Yeah, so it's not next week, but it's in a few weeks. It's on August 17th. It's a Sunday. It's going to be held from 3 to 5 p.m. Excuse me, and it's going to be on Zoom. So it's all virtual. It's very convenient. We had a great turnout the first time we did it. I believe it was the beginning of June. So we're doing another one because there's so many people that are ready to buy, but at the same time aren't ready because they don't have the proper information. So I believe that it's very important to give this information to especially first-time home buyers.
Yeah, well, they don't have the right information, but they don't have the right person to help them understand and see.
That's me. I can help them.
Exactly. Cool. Adam, Ronnie, any events that you want to mention that are coming up?
No, nothing for me coming up, or at least I'm aware of.
Yeah, I'm pretty actually slow too. It's the summer, so I think August is usually back to school, back to college.
No, this is so
So
true.
it's so it's pretty quiet on my front, unfortunately, but it's good that I can rest up a little bit for this fall.
Oh boy, yeah, busy time, busy.
Yeah.
Roger, do you have any other anything else you want to say about the event that you're at?
No, I don't have anything else to add. So I'll let you know how I do at the on my score today.
For sure. And yeah, and just remind Art not to drink too many so he doesn't fall off the third floor.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't swing so hard you fall off the third floor platform there, Roger.
I'm gonna try Happy Gilmore it.
That was a good movie, by the way. The second one, that was a really good one.
The second one was surprisingly good.
Yeah, I just watched it. So funny.
Super cool. All right, Roger. Well, hey, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Get out there and network. Okay.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. So that brings us to where, if you can believe it, we're almost at the end of our show, but wanted to mention before we go, we're really building this LEARNin Local network to showcase exactly the things that we've talked about today, insights about doing deals with real people, real deals with real people in real time. Obviously, Melissa, Adam, Ronnie, you're not new to the network, but 100% really appreciate you continuing to grow this thing with us. One last thing, I know that it seemed like a real, at least for me, it seemed like we've only been talking for 5 minutes. But in a great way, I want to give Ronnie an opportunity to just give a takeaway for what we may have learned from today's topic and insights.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Ruben, actually, for letting me have the last word here. Yeah, as you can see, we talked about, obviously this deal, and at first blush with the headlines, you might think that, the economy's in dire straits or their commercial real estate market's in dire straits or something's going on. But if you dive further into it and you see what's actually going on, and again, it's a great lesson, because, a deal like this, most likely is not, I guess, an indication what's happening with the economy. So there's something else that was going on behind the scenes, it's a great lesson to think that, just don't trust everything that you see out there. We had some great commentary, kind of backing it up too with some market insight too, on like how much these units would go for, the location, Melissa drove by a location. Is a great location. So there's no reason why this project should have been, get thrown into going into auction actually. So, it's one of these things where, these insights, if you read it all you out there, if you're reading it and you're an investor, you look at it, you're like, reach out to us if you see something like this. It doesn't have to be 70 unit, but if it is a 70 unit, it's great. But, if you see something out there and it doesn't make sense, reach out to any one of us and, and get some help, get some insight, and, because we're here to basically provide our education and what we know to you guys. So
thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate that, Ronnie. Yeah. And I just wanted to say thank you everyone for your participation. Look, Ronnie, we even have an older picture of you here from a previous show on this. But yeah, no, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you all for your contribution. Obviously, your time is very valuable. Everyone's really busy, even in a down real estate market. Unfortunately, it's busy, but it is what it is. So, but really appreciate you and hope I hope that we'll continue to build this network and this live feed so that we can continue to always help educate, empower, and inspire buyers in the Massachusetts market to succeed. So thank you all for your contribution. Until next week, make it a great week, and we'll go from there.